Good evening, everybody. Welcome to What He Said with Kevin Walker. Of course, I am Kevin Walker, the gray bearded one. The gentleman joining us to my left on screen tonight is none other than the incomparable. Hey, I'm going to go on a limb and say this is Worthing High School's all-time leading rusher. Now, I might be wrong. But I doubt it. But I'm going to go on that limb since can't nobody go research that no way. I'm going to ride with the fact that Sean Eaglin is Worthing High School's all-time leading rusher. What's up, brother Sean?
Man, ain't too much, fam. How you doing this evening, man?
Say, man, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. I'm too blessed to be stressed for sure.
Man, facts.
Man, how has it been going with you, man? Let's recap. Let's talk about family real fast, man. I appreciate the fact that I got a chance to come by. And got a chance to see my boy D, man, looking good. Look like he definitely been putting in the work. So
you're working, man.
Let's just talk about the kids for right now.
Man, my kids, they amaze me all the time. The things that we go back and circle around to that we've talked about before, that they actually received the information that I gave them. And they come back and talk to me about different things. Like Shania came back and she talks to me about finances. Well, Daddy, remember you told me if I save like this, start practicing like I'm already moved out and how to put my money up so I'll be able to pay my bills. She listened to that. With Donovan, just the whole take everything serious. Life gonna pass by you fast. Before you know it, you'll be graduating, So he listened to that. And then with Portia stepping out on some new ventures, and she's not afraid. I told her, don't be afraid to leave home. Don't let this home be so comfortable to you where you're afraid to go out and dream and live your dreams. Not according to your friends or your family members, but your dreams, what God has for you. Yeah. With Avery, I watched Avery be an awesome father, places where I felt like I was him being a great father. And with Bailey, man, Bailey just an all-around grinder. My baby came straight home from school and went straight back to work. So to see her, not sitting around with her hand out, man, what joy, for those kids, man. They some good kids. They
Well, what I would even say to those relationships, of course, to God be the glory with it all. But at the end of the day, what you and the moms on the other end have instilled, man, you just reaping the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
That's what they talk about when we sow into our kids. Here's the seed. Look at the seeds.
Right.
So, you guys got to take your caps off and, take a bow because, hey, you getting back what you put in, bro. So, congratulations with you on the success of your kids, and not just with my girl Bailey coming home, getting a job, but making the dean's list.
Dean's list, man. That was
yeah.
When I got when she called me and told me, I was like, whoa. And for her not to settle there, she like, well, next year I want to be on the president's list. Like, okay, she explained to me what the president's list was, and just to see her excited and pushing to elevate herself.
I
want it all. I don't want to just fall right here and settle, because she could have just settled for the dean's list. But now she says she want to make the president's list. And man, that did my heart glad. I'm just seeing Big Will, Big Will, we were all at the house on Saturday.
Yeah.
Big Will in the mix and enjoying himself, man. I get a kick out of seeing them kids smile. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I feel you. So look, guys, we got some very, 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 what's up, T-Money? We got some very interesting topics on this evening. We're going to rediscuss what Terry and I talked about last week because we didn't really get a chance to totally just dive into it. And that's going to be, Can I Trust You With My Heart, Part 2. So we're going to, Sean and I are going to tap on that tonight. We also going to talk about, hey, look, stop pushing parked cars. And boy, wait till we dive into that one, because the first thing normally people always yell when your car break down and you got it in neutral. The car gotta have some help from the car before you can push it anywhere. So we're gonna discuss stop pushing parked cars. And then we're going to talk about teach from your pain. That's actually going to be our second topic, Black. We're going to go with teach from your pain second. But first, let's go back to last week and let's talk about, can I trust you with my heart? And let me set the table on that first.
Okay.
Since you weren't privy to last week's conversation, the thing I talked about and from where I came with it is when you're dating or getting to know someone. When you're dating or getting to know someone, male or female, in our case, that would be female, it's like, do you just walk in the door trusting people? Or do you sort of play the background, go through some situations and scenarios, and wait to find out how that person's going to react to certain situations? For me personally, I always say, look, I'm going to give you the best of me from Jump Street just to see how you react to who I am naturally. Because if I go in trying to hold back, I'm not being me.
Right.
So I'm going to go in and I'm going to give you everything I got from the jump. And then I will alter my feelings and the reciprocation of what you're giving me. I'm going to alter based on the feeling, based on the moods. So can I trust you with my heart? Can I tell you all my innermost secrets? Can you handle my secrets? How do you react to my secrets? See, the last thing you want is to go in sharing things about your past or things about who you are as a person and then have that backfire and used against you in a time of discussion.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. I think that through life has taught me to treat people how I want to be treated. And, I had to grow to that point. It wasn't something that I just started out doing. I think growing up, depending on how you grew up and things that you witnessed and things that you've been through, we all are guarded at a point in time in our life. I can step out there and say we all guarded. When you come into situations, you want to kind of come in a little bit and kind of test the water. But as I hear you say all the time, at the age that we are now, I don't have time to be, hey, I'm all or nothing. I'm going to throw myself all the way in. And here I am. And if you handle me right, I'm going to handle you right. And we're going to keep it moving. At the first sign I see you not handling me right, I'm gone.
Yeah.
That came with just living.
Yeah, I think what happens is that as we grow, of course, what we should do. Now, when I say grow, I mean spiritually, biblically, with worldly understanding, because all of that formulates who we are. So when I say growth, I'm not talking about age, height, and weight. So I just think a lot of that formulates into the person that Sean Eaglin is. So I think what happens is that based on the situations of our past, we become who and what we are.
Right.
So then that's what brings in, man, I'm just going to chill. I ain't going, because we start not to trust based on how people have treated us or reacted to us in the past. Is that fair to your current situation to be withdrawn based on situations of our past? But
no, it's really not. It's really not. When you step into a new situation, you have to have a totally different mind frame. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to put everything that I went through in my past relationship behind me. I'm going to start all over fresh. And I'm going to learn this person and learn to walk with this person and not bring my past history or relationships into this, because it becomes a hindrance. We all mature at a different level at different times. And just because a person is mature in one area don't mean that they mature in another area. I think that's a mistake that I've made before, thinking, okay, if I'm here, then you should be here. And that's not the truth. We all mature slowly and gradually at different times. Like it's some areas that you may have been mature in a relationship that I wasn't mature in. So I had to grow to that point. Are you willing to grow with me, wait for me to grow? or are you willing to just say, hey, look, hey, you not ready? I need to keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for me, man, I can honestly say, and I'll say this about my ex-wife, she had to be an awfully strong woman to be able to put up with a lot of the BS I personally did and put her through, because all I can do is talk about my flaws and what I did wrong.
Exactly.
And that's all I can apologize for. I can't apologize for her wrongdoings, or hold her accountable for her actions. I can just talk about Kevin Walker. So, man, just for me to be who I am now, and have matured as a man, I say all the time, and I'm gonna continue to say it, the next woman that get me is gonna get the best me.
Right.
Because of who I've matured into as a man and what my understanding is now about what even I should be as a man. Because sometimes until we mature in a lot of ways, so we don't understand what we should be doing, shouldn't be doing, should be saying, shouldn't be saying. And as young men, we've watched some horrible examples of leadership, meaning fathers, uncle, cousins, big brothers, handle mama, handle girlfriend, handle multiple girlfriends in our wake all the wrong way. So what we saw, we thought it was cool to have multiple women.
Yeah. That was just what we grew up in. And a lot of times it's unfair, you know what I'm saying, to really be able to try to assess what we've done because of the way we learn. We learned a certain way. Like you said, man, my ex, beautiful person. She's was always there and in my corner. But I wasn't on the level that she was on during our relationship. So I grew up in something thinking the wrong way. I had the wrong thoughts, the wrong perception about what a man was supposed to be. So if you take the 49-year-old Sean and can go back and talk to the 26-year-old Sean, I mean, I have a whole lot that I could tell him, to save him from not only his own heartaches, but causing heartaches to other people. Because like you said, we grew up, hey man, it was about how many women you had.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you get you one woman and settle down. I didn't learn that. That's not what I heard. That's not what I was being taught. So I only acted on what I seen.
Yeah, and that's interesting because in spite of my examples to my kids, I've watched little Kevin, my oldest son. I'm explaining that to everybody else. I know you know who he is. In spite of who I was as a husband, great father, but not the greatest husband. In spite of that, I'm watching my son be a committed and devoted father to his wife and get married at a very young age. And what I appreciate is that my son is taking what he saw and not allowing that to take him in the wrong direction. What he's saying is, whatever the cycle was,
I'm gonna break it.
I'm gonna break that cycle. I'm gonna break that cycle. Because I watched my dad have multiple women on my mama and them arguing and fighting about it. You know what I'm saying? So
that was the seed that was planted in your head and it didn't do nothing but grow. The seeds that we've seen, they grew. And just so happened, it was unfortunate for any woman that we encountered during those years, they got a short end of a stick of a man that was given something that was later found out to be a false way of living.
Yeah.
That's why I was so interested, man. When you sent me the topics and I looked at them, I just kind of laughed because I can go right into the teaching from your pain just off of that. The same way you did with little Kevin, I watched Donovan. He listened because my thing was, hey, son, you're going to have a lot of women come at you. You're an athlete, nice looking young man. They're going to be after you. They're going to be on your rope. I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. Find you one If that's who you're gonna be with, settle down, rock out with her. You know, and I painted the picture showing him, I don't want you to have to go through what I had to go through, running across town, a kid over here, a kid over there. I don't want you to live that life. Find you one woman that you can rock out with, and it's going to make your life a whole lot simpler. And to watch him actually practice it and do it. In high school, he had one girlfriend. Going into college, that same girl. When him and her broke up, you know, he chilled for a while. Now he's with another young woman. And I watch him be happy and cool with just that one girl. But it was just the conversation that we had, me telling him, hey, I don't want you to do like I did. I'm not happy. I wasn't happy about all that I've been through. But the only way that I could break that cycle was to tell my son the truth. Like, hey, all it takes is one. It don't take all the rest of it.
Yeah, and see, I think that's where the maturity process come in, because any adult individual, if you're 40 anything, 30 anything, 50 anything, I think you should be able to have a fair level of self-evaluation and realize when you look in the mirror, okay, I'm tripping.
Right.
If you don't look in the mirror and find some fault with self, then, man, you need more than counseling.
Yes.
Because the one thing that I can do as Kevin Walker, it don't take nobody telling me I'm in the wrong. The minute I do it and turn away, I fucked up. It's like I know in that moment, because, man, if you're a good person at heart, you know how to treat people.
Right.
And it should eat at you when you don't act accordingly or appropriately within the will of God towards people. It should eat at you.
Yeah, it does, man. I think when the Holy Spirit fall on you and God starts tugging at your heart and you really start to, okay, I hear you, and following what he has for you, man, your whole outlook on everything is different. You know, even with those who consider themselves or present themselves, I'm gonna say consider, present themselves as an enemy towards you. It's a certain way you start to handle them. Like, man, I'm not going to pop off. I'm not going to say anything back. I'm going to let the Lord fight my battles. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to keep it moving. So the same thing with if a person hurts you. If you hurt me or if you do something that I don't like, I'm not going to just dismiss you or handle you badly. No, I'm going to look at the situation like, okay, how could I have been different in that situation?
Yeah.
Was this something that I could have done better? You know, if it's something I could have done better, then I can go to that person. Hey, well, man, I see the error of my ways. I can apologize for that and keep it moving. You know, I don't stay in it and dwell in it. I'm trying to move on from everything, learn from it and move on. Like you say, that self-evaluation, that self-reflection is big.
Yeah, so what I've learned to do, even with doing this podcast, the one thing that I've learned, not just about self, but the one thing I've really tried to exercise that I've learned is to be honest. So if you're going to do this podcast, if you're going to openly speak, then be honest about what you're talking about. Don't go on and self-gratify and try to glorify who Kevin Walker is when you know it's a lot of fault being Kevin Walker.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, I try to come on, man, and be honest, Black, and, you know, try and help somebody because somebody's suffering, somebody's struggling with something right now as we sit here speaking. Somebody may get a chance to watch this tomorrow and something may be said that a light bulb go on with them. They be like, okay, well, I'm not by myself.
Yeah, definitely.
These brothers are struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with. You know, somebody's struggle may be an addiction. You and I don't have that problem. Not when it comes to drugs, you know, but somebody else's problem may be with women. I don't have that problem no more. I did once upon a time.
Yeah, for sure.
And the only thing that I can honestly say, man, and the only thing that I can honestly tell people, because I've been on this journey of, I'm not gonna put my body back out there the way I did before sexually, with just running through everything I ran in my 20s and 30s and most of my 40s, even being married, let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that because here I am, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, at 54 years old, with all the things I've done, all the women I've enjoyed. I'm 54 and I'm single. But now I'm single by choice. But it's the fact that here I am at 54, you know, with a job making over $100,000 a year easy, house of my own. Man, I should be sharing this world, able to travel when I want, where I want, how I want. I should be able to share this world, wonderful kids. I should be able to share this world with the woman of my choice, with a lovely, lovely woman of my choice.
Right.
But it's taken me true self-examination to get to where I am right now.
Yeah. Self-worth. You know, through this life, man, we learn self-worth. And coming from the background that we share a background. And I think that's what keeps our relationship as close as we are, and we talk about a lot of things, is because of what we've been through and what we've seen. You know, you're a high school athlete or just an athlete, period. You're on a whole nother level. Your attitude is on another level. Your ability to be able to walk into a crowd and command the room is different. You know? So when you walk in and all eyes on you, being that we were taught the way that we were taught, it made it easy to be like, okay, I'm gonna pick her, I'm gonna pick her, I'm gonna pick her. And that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I'm gonna work with. I'm gonna work with it. And to unlearn those behaviors that you've been having for 20 plus years, it's not something that you can just do overnight.
Yeah.
You know, it took time. Like, God had to really work on me, fam, to get me to where I am now, to where I can be like, okay, if I see a nice looking woman, okay, yeah, she nice looking. You know, if she flirt with me and I could be like, hey, how you doing? Now I'm good, you know, and going on about my business. Not sit there and, hey, what's up, little mama? Yeah, what's going on? Okay, you gonna meet me well? You know, I don't have those thoughts anymore. When at a point in time in my life, it was automatic.
Yeah.
You want to give it to me? Shit, I'm finna take it. You know, and like I said, I had to mature to the level that I'm at now, where I can walk by and be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, so let me do some house cleaning, Black, if you will.
Go ahead.
So I wanna give my Uzi or my bazooka, because I don't know what weapon kills an elephant. But I'm sure people watching saying, man, how these dudes so cool, and he dated Nicole all them years and he moved on. And I say, man, look, and you and I have had this conversation, so I'm just basically sharing with them what me and you have openly discussed with each other.
Yeah, come on, we good.
And the same thing that I've said to Nicole. Look, I'm happy for Sean. I really am. And I've said this to my cousin. Sean have moved on. Sean is happy where Sean is. My cousin got to do her.
Yeah, for
She
sure.
got to move on.
Yeah, for sure.
And start her process of doing her. She brought Sean Eaglin in my life to love. I'm not going to hate this man.
Yeah.
Hey, I love his daughter too much to hate him.
Right.
You know, so at the end of the day, it's about growth and understanding the situation. When we say family, like, bro, I don't think people truly realize how much during the course of a week, me and you may just chop it up when we at work.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
Just ride and talk about it.
And the thing that I appreciate now, like I've always appreciated, number one, I don't care what time of night it is. Sean Eaglin is a dude I can call, and he on the way.
Already, for sure.
On top of being able to call him and depend on him, man, you've called me at times when I just want to stick my head in the blender and was like, man, I love you, man. I like the way you hanging in there. I like how strong you are. And I'm like, man, this man don't see this chopper in my hand about to blow my head off. But you've given me iron to sharpen myself with, because the Bible tells us that iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, for sure.
And you called me and poured your heart out trying to encourage me to be who I am and keep doing what I'm doing when I was at some of my weakest moments.
Yeah.
Losing my daughter, getting a divorce, health was failing all at the same time, 3 surgeries in the same year. And I don't even think that side of it, you knew all of that. You knew the divorce and with Jade passing away, but the stress of living life day to day, just day to day stress, I needed to be carried.
Mm-hmm.
And when your phone calls came across, or when you just showed up knocking on the door, hey fam, I was just coming to check on you, boy, holla at. Now I didn't have a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need the crutches because you was carrying me. Just sometimes them words of wisdom and comfort. Man, how can I hate this man? How can I dislike this man who carried me in my weakest moments when both of my legs was broke, when my vertebrae feel like it was no longer effective in my back? This brother stood me up tall to encourage me.
Man.
And I don't take lightly. I do not take lightly the iron that sharpened me when I was dull. And I love you for that. I appreciate you for that. I really do. Fuck what people think. I'm just pouring out my heart right now to you, brother. Being honest, man.
Man, you know I love you too, man. And that was a difficult time in my life because me and Nicole grew up together. And, you know, I had to really take into consideration a whole lot because I felt like the separation was going to affect a multitude. And it was a scary moment in my life, you know, but it was one that I know I had to make. I had to make that move, not only for me, but for us, you know, me and her, because there was a lot of pain there. There was a lot of hurt there. And a lot of it was caused by me and my immaturity, you know, us growing up. You know, like you said earlier, I would never sit here and talk about what she did. I could tell you about what I did. What Sean did wrong. And I did enough wrong to where I couldn't correct it, you know? So in moving on, the love that I have for her is going to always be there. Nicole is like family. She is the mother of my child. So it's no way I could turn my back on her. You know, we're not together and can't be together in this capacity, but there's other capacities that we should be able to support one another. Like I told you when you was at the house the other day.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, go ahead.
Man, I was dead ass serious about that.
Yeah.
I hope it be a day where we can all be together. Me and my current relationship, Nicole and her relationship, and we can sit there and just talk. You and your relationship, we can all just sit there and talk and be family, you know, because regardless, at the end of the day, all the outside people don't really matter to me. You know, there's an inner circle of family, and you are a part of my family. Nicole is a part of my family. And one day I hope that we can all sit down together and just laugh and talk, because that's what being grown is about, man.
Yeah.
Being grown.
Man, just like I told you the other night when you told me that, man, can't nobody tell me what God can't do, when I honestly never thought that me and Nika would be able to be on the same level that we on right now, because the divorce was so nasty in the moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now we laugh and joke and talk when we see each other, and, you know, it's all good because it's about the kids. It's about the grandkids. Mm-hmm. So
that's that maturity that we was talking about.
Yeah. And so I can almost guarantee you that, say, man, Where there's a will, there's a way. And as long as we praying to the same God,
Amen.
hey, it's possible, brother.
Yeah,
It's
I know he's
possible.
gonna do it. I know he's gonna do it, and he's gonna do it in his time.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
while we wait on him, I'm gonna keep doing me.
So let's teach from our pain, brother. We just got through pouring our hearts out.
Yeah, man.
Let's teach from our pain. So let's talk about some things as men.
Mm-hmm.
What situation for Sean Eaglin did Sean Eaglin go through? Was Sean Eaglin placed in? And it could have been self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
But what situation were you placed in as a man that made you do again some self-evaluation, but you came out smelling like a rose? You went in smelling like a pile of shit, but you came out of that thing smelling like a rose to where you are right now, and gave you a totally different perspective on life.
Man, my prison experience, hands down, you know, that was my lowest point. You know, seeing my children hurt, seeing Nicole hurt at the time, seeing my parents, my grandmother, you know, my family members, everybody nervous, like, damn, what's finna happen with him? And to go into the dungeon and come out the dungeon and take those clothes off and walk in the newness, man, that helped me teach a whole lot of things. Like, my whole mindset was different. The way I talked to my kids was different. The way I embraced people was different, you know, because at the blink of an eye, man, it could all be over. So
Yeah.
how we treat one another every day is so important. I don't have time to be mad at nobody, because this shit could be over with tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walk in love and in peace. So that way, man, if God do call me home, man, I'm in the right place, man. You know, so my pain was my failures. So while I was in prison, I was able to look at my failures in relationships, my failures in finance, my failures in just being a son or a grandson, a friend or a cousin. So when I came home, I strived to be the best at everything that I was involved in. Man, I want to be the best. I don't want to fall short. I want to be the best, and just work at it. Be open, you know. Don't mind telling people, hey man, hey, you know I'm fucked up now. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to get better, but you know, hey, don't look at me and think that everything is all good. Now I have to talk. I have talks with myself all the time. I'm talking with God. All right, Lord, I need you to help me, man. My thoughts ain't right, you know. And it was that experience, Kevin, because when I can remember I was walking with a brother named Frank out of Louisiana. And Frank was preaching and stuff while we was in prison. He was like, man, well, what you gonna do when you go home, Sean? You know, how you gonna be? I said, man, I just want to walk it out. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm gonna be no preacher. I don't know what God got for me. But what I do want to do is go home and walk it out. When you see me, I want you to know this is a person that been through some stuff, but he know how to give it to God, and God elevate him every time. That's what I want to be, you know, hands down.
Yeah, so I think for me, just about the roughest points. And one thing that I said when I started this podcast is that, man, I'm going to allow people to express themselves, and, you know, we're not going to be judgmental. We're not going to throw stones, and we're going to welcome and love on everybody that come in, because what we need to do first and foremost is understand before we have a level of judgment against a person's thoughts.
Right.
So a lot of times people feel how they feel because of personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So let me read this. Being fair. Given, you know, we had a lot of, you know, people saying, well, that was God, and people saying the maturity and iron sharpens iron. But, you know, you're going to always have some negative Nancy's.
Yeah, this is going to happen.
So I'm going to read Nikisha Price Green's comment.
Like we surprised?
My friend isn't sitting concerning herself with Sean just because she didn't go finding someone soon as they departed, this shouldn't be about my friend. And Sharmita commented and said, it's not though. I don't think having the conversation at any point, nobody made this about my little sister, because that's what she is to me.
Right.
And anybody who know me know when you step on her toes, you damn sure stepping on mine.
Right.
So I mean, there's no way at all, period, that I would come on anything or come in anywhere to the negative about somebody that I love like my sister. Like, that's ignorant. That's absolutely ignorant for anybody to even comment or say something like that.
But see, that's that level. That's that level of maturity again, Kevin. You know, if anybody know you or know me, they should know how we feel about Nicole. So nobody would get on here and do anything to tear her down in any kind of way. That's not what you're gonna get from Sean and Kevin. You know, but that just show you, man, the level of people mindset is just different, fam. They just different, man. I just pray for those type of people, man. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, like, to know me, you gotta know that's an extension of who I am and what I am. And shit, I'll fight a wild motherfucking polar bear for my little cousin. Anybody who know me know that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I know more than once or twice we spoke on the love of family and the love for Bailey based on you being Bailey's dad and the relationship and Nicole brought you in all of our lives. And I mean, I don't know. It's
it's funny, man, because like that's how you have people that's in the background that don't actually know what be going on with people. And we're not gonna turn this into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna simply say that we know how we feel about Nicole. We know where we are with Nicole. And that's all that matters. Somebody on the outside looking in, man, that's not even, we're not going to waste our time in entertainment. What we are going to talk about is, you know, that we're two men, imperfect men, that God has allowed to grow into great men that will inspire others to be great. That's what we can talk about. We can talk about that.
That's agreed. So for me, from a pain perspective and teaching from my pain, you know, I always, when I talk about things that changed me, you know, I don't think it's a secret to anyone or where I am that my 2018 was probably, I don't want to say the worst year,
it was
because as bad as that was, you know, God brought me through it.
Yes, he did.
But it was a tough road to hoe for the entire 2018, which started with pneumonia and ended with a surgery, emergency appendectomy in November. But what it did do, in the midst of all that, with me losing Jade that same year, I think what it did as a man was allow me to appreciate the small things that I had been blessed with that slowly was being taken away and removed. It makes you appreciate situation. It makes you appreciate the things before you kind of glossed over. For whatever reason, you glossed over them. For the one thing that now I talk about that I miss is that for my birthday every year, the first person to call me was Jade at midnight.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy, ain't nobody told you happy birthday, huh? I'd be like, girl, it's midnight. It's 12:30 at night. Ain't nobody called me. And well, I wanted to be first. Yeah. So not only did she want to be first, normally that was spring break. Me being married to someone that was in education, they were on trips with kids while I was working. So if I'd have a little dinner or get together, Hey, Jade front and center
Right.
from the start to the end. So just the attention to detail for the small things from my baby girl, like I miss those things.
Mm-hmm. And I think
I will never, Black, get the opportunity to walk my daughter down the aisle. That I was robbed of. I've only got one girl, and I was robbed of the opportunity as a father to walk my daughter down the aisle.
yeah.
That can't be replaced. That can't be replaced.
And see,
So
that's the thing that when me and you were talking about teaching from your pain, you know, that's the one thing that I got from you. It was one time we had a conversation, and as soon as we hung up, man, I call my kids, each one of them, you know, just to tell them I love them, because through your pain, you was letting me know without you directly saying that. You was like, man, cherish those moments.
yeah.
Cherish those moments. So even if, you know, my kids, they grown, so, you know, they got their own mind. We don't see eye to eye all the time. But even in the midst of all of that, I'll never let that time go by without just, you know what? Hey, man, you feel how you feel. You know, if I did anything to offend you, I apologize. You know, let's just move forward. Because like you say, man, those moments when they're taken from you, you know, it's nothing you could do about it, you know, and it's a lot of things that you've taught me, you know. Even though you were Nicole's cousin, you became my family. We had so many years together, and you never hid anything from me. You never held back any information. You know, hey, Black, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I would take that in because you didn't have to give it to me. You know, you could have been one of those brothers like, shit, I went through it and failed. Hell, I'm gonna let everybody else fall too. But you never allowed me to fall. You know, you would just speak honestly. And I think that's what we need more of. You know, just people that's not afraid to talk from their pain. Because as men, we hurt too. You know, we go through things too. You know, we're not built to steal. You know what I mean? We built the flesh and made up of blood too. So we hurt. And for us to be able to open up to one another as men in a teaching manner, I think is real big, man, and real vital for the growth of becoming a real man. Like, it's things that you helped me with and you help me with now that in my relationship, my current relationship, I feel like I'm a better man because of the words you've given me, you know, and that's what's big. And that's what we need to be. We need to learn to teach one another instead of being ashamed when you fall down. Be willing to help somebody else not fall.
Yeah, we've got to definitely be open on both sides of the ledger to having the tough conversations. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that's where we fail, because even with our kids, sometimes we won't address the situation because of course it's not fear. It's not that we're afraid of them, but I think when it comes to being a father, you don't want to hurt your kid feelings.
Right.
But we live in a cruel world. And if we're not open and honest, we know this world, man, hey, these streets are undefeated.
Chew you up and spit you out.
Say, man, these streets are totally undefeated. So as parents, if we're not honest, who's going to be honest with your kids? Who's going to tell your baby the truth when nobody else will? Because I think whether they're willing to admit it or accept it one way or the other, the truth is, I think they'd rather hear it. They should rather get it from you, because at least they know it's coming from a place of love and understanding. If I lead you wrong, I'm not leading you wrong based out of spite or hate or envy.
Right.
I'm leading you wrong because, hey, daddy misjudged that and I made a mistake.
And be willing to come back and say that I made a mistake. You know, a lot of times I see parents give their kids a false sense of hope instead of just telling them the truth. Like, man, just be honest with them. They'll love you and respect you more if you just be honest with them about the situation.
So Terry said, so I hear y'all pain, but I'm also hearing that there were drastic situations that happened to make the change. When you change simply because you know you need to, the pain will dwindle. I mean, that's basically true, but sometimes it takes people going through some losses, some serious situations to open your eyes to some stuff that maybe you was glossing over.
Right.
And you know, maybe your spirit was headed in the right direction, but your mind was going in the other direction. Your spirit knew better.
Mm-hmm.
Your spirit knew better. I should not be doing this. That's my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But my mind and my body said, boy, this show feel right.
Yeah.
Boy, this show feel good.
Yeah.
So we have more of a propensity to gravitate towards what makes us feel good. See, and I know for me, the struggle is I don't like hurting people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So I find myself allowing people to be in my mix and around me as space fillers, as Randy Kelly calls them, space fillers, more so than from a love place, from a place of love.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you be a good guy? Because by nature, I'm just a good-hearted dude.
Right. Right.
So how do you, as a good-hearted dude, be honest when you know the other individual is going to hurt? And you told me something a long time ago in a simple conversation. You said, Kev, I hear you, bro. But kinfolk, your words say one thing, but your actions saying something different in her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that conversation?
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, Black, but I know you told her.
Yeah.
I believe she told me you told her. But your actions,
yeah,
what you are allowing her to be and do is making her feel like them just words.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's like I had to learn, you really just have to detach. You got to detach. From some females, from some people, you got to just detach.
Yeah.
Because if you smiling and being Kevin, hey, man, I like to have fun. I like to joke. And they take that as, oh, shoot, I still got a window of opportunity. He laughing and playing. That's just who you are. But to them, that's opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had to learn, say, man, I can't laugh and play with some people at all. It just cut and dry. Can't open the door, can't give no room, no type of conversation because it's going to cause a problem in my household. So I just need to, boom, you know. But I had to grow to that. I had to see, okay, man, let me look at it. What am I doing wrong? And what I was doing wrong is I was entertaining. Even though it didn't mean nothing to me, that's not
it meant something to them, yeah.
How it was being perceived.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, even when you ask yourself all the tough questions that people say you should ask from a relationship perspective sometimes, like, so what do you bring to the ledger? Is there any point in any time that we can seriously sit down and have a for real heart-to-heart serious conversation, and I leave that conversation better when I walk away than I do when I walked up? So if you can have a heart-to-heart with somebody and you don't feel like you've grown after that conversation is over, say, man, that's a waste of time, Black.
It really is.
That's a waste of time.
Yeah, yeah. You got to be able to grow, man. If we're going to sit down and take the time to pour our hearts out, man, we have to have grown from that conversation. Like you said, if not, it's just wasted time. If I pour my heart out to you, telling you how I feel and what my aspirations and dreams are, and and we can't get up from the table and be on one accord, something wrong.
Elisa Denise says, honesty is always the best policy. You know, I don't know. Because I don't want to lie, but I also don't want to hurt feelings. I don't want to lie, but I also don't want to hurt feelings. So I would rather have conversations at my own leisure and at my own pace.
I get you.
So if I'm honest about where I am and somebody gets hurt along the way, as the person I am, man, that bothers me. That will bother me. If I say something to you that I know is going to be detrimental to Sean Eaglin's feelings, that bothers me.
Right. But
So me personally, unless you bring the conversation to me, I'd rather not even have it. I'd rather not be honest if I know pain is going to come from the conversation. Now, sometimes is that necessary? Yeah, it is. And as grown folks, sometimes we have to be in some uncomfortable situations. We do.
True that.
But you should never be cool with putting people in a painful place.
Yeah, just waking up and not, okay, I'm finna go around and I just want to hurt somebody today. I think the average one of us looks to protect everyone that we're around. You know, you got to be a real evil spirited person, man, I'm just finna walk around. I just want to hurt everybody I come across today. I just want to say a bunch of hurtful things to tear people down. You different when you do that, man. You real different.
Yeah, Sid Douglas says that's powerful, Kevin. Be honest. That's grown folks talk. Leanna Park said, don't get caught up from the jump. That's easier said than done sometimes. Elisa says, honesty is the best policy. Greg Burton said, speak your truths. Penny says, don't live a lie, because when the truth happens, a person is beyond mad. Now your character is in question. Okay. Sid Douglas said, Kevin, hurt them now. It will help them later. My man Greg Burton said, it's how you speak to it. Nicole Rogers said, my grandma used to say, don't pack your feelings on your shoulders. Somebody's going to always walk by and tip them off. Penny came back and said, it's not pain if it's an upfront conversation. Then Greg Burton says, best book is Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Penny came back and commented and said, it seems that people refrain from the truth so that they can still benefit from the lie. Okay. Felicia ended by saying, if it's something that will help to save them, you should speak the truth. I got you. So let's talk about pushing parked cars. So the whole phrase of pushing parked cars, I was talking to my old buddy there, ED. I call her ED. So anytime I call, I'd be like, what's up, ED? She'd be like, I'm the cure. So the first time she said she was the cure, I was lost for a second. It took me damn near our whole conversation to figure out that she was saying she was the cure for ED. I was like, oh. So yeah, my girl Elisa Denise, but she called when I be like, what's up, ED? She always say the cure. So we were having a conversation and she says, well, first off, what you got to do is stop pushing parked cars. I was like, whoa, that's powerful. And she was like, yeah, have you ever tried to push a parked car? I was like, no, because normally the first thing we say, hey, you got it in gear, put it in neutral.
Right.
Before we even attempt to push it. Mm-hmm. And normally the first thing we holler, put it in neutral, because it's almost impossible to push a parked vehicle.
It is impossible unless it's a stick shift.
So my thing from that she and I discussed about that was, it's people that's in our lives that don't want to better themselves, that we always try to force feed or force them to be what we see or what we think they can be when they fighting us the whole time to be a better person, to be a better them.
Right.
So why are you trying to push a parked car? And just the analogy and the reasoning behind the analogy, I was like, hey, that might be the best one I've heard this year.
Yeah, that. Hey, man, that's it. Hits so many different areas, because in life, a lot of times when we're going forward, we want to bring everybody with us. But if they got their car in park, it's no way we can pull them where we're going. They can't walk together with us if they decide to put their car in park. Because it's a decision. It's a decision that you've made. If you decide that, hey, I'm good right here, I don't want to go any further, then how can I possibly bring you where I'm trying to go? There's just no way. If a boat puts down its anchor, you can't just pull the boat without pulling the anchor.
Yeah. True. Yeah, and so for me, the one thing that I've learned, and I talked to another friend today that shall remain nameless. She's like, don't use our conversations and don't use my name on that podcast. But I'm going to use the conversation anyway because she don't run me. So we were talking today about people photobombing. And what does it mean to be photobombed? So that's a person that by a prank or a joke is in the background of your picture being amusing and shocking you when you take the real view. So how many people in our lives are we allowing to photobomb us in life? People who are in the background that once we see things for what it really is, we see that person ain't or shouldn't be a part of our world.
Say, man, that hits home and it touches my soul when you say that. Because when you get to self-evaluate, like we were talking about earlier, and you get to looking around and you get to clearing the fluff that's around you, you really see like, man, this person not really for me.
Yeah.
They there, but they not for me. They looking for any opportunity they can to take me down. They look like they with me because they in the picture smiling, but actually they just walking with me to be a mockery of what God doing in my life. So, man, we get that all the time, fam. When you look around, when you really start self-evaluating and cleaning, you start picking off people left and right, and got to leave them as parked cars and keep it moving.
Yeah, can't push them.
Can't go with me.
Yeah, because it's always, when we really look at big picture of our lives, it's always somebody in that picture that's photobombing us, that's really there for the prank. And they not there to help us push forward. They not there to help push that parked car. They sitting on the side laughing like, look at that dumbass. But at the end of the day, you still got to keep putting forth your best effort to be who you are, because God called you to walk that walk. God called you to be that somebody. And the one thing I say and see in a true evaluation, people are going to always see you for what they want you to be and not who you are.
Say, boy, that could preach all by itself right there.
But Sean, I've truly learned that, bro. I've truly learned that regardless of how good I am to some, others are going to always try to draw a look for the negative in the moment.
Right. Yeah. But you just have negative people like that. They can't see anything because they don't see themselves positive. All they see is negativity surrounding them. And they try to spread that negativity everywhere they go. They're just like a cancer. They're a cancer everywhere they go. And they just can't help themselves.
Yeah, so my girl Penny said, the lady last week said that she divorced her husband after 17 years because he was a parked car. Yeah, she did. That was Jessica.
Uh,
Felicia said, oh, she said that was a good one, Denise. A must use. Yeah, that was a good one. I was impressed by that. And then Penny said, and this is a good perspective from Penny. Penny came back and said, people photobomb to be a part of your greatness. You know, so they're in the background, like, look who I'm with, but
right.
you're not really with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're not really with me. You in the background being the clown while I'm in the front being the focus.
Mm-hmm.
But you just happen to be in that mix of greatness. But that's a good one, Penny. I like that. So
Yeah.
Elisa Denise said, that's a hard hitter, photobombing, great perspective, Sean and K. Eugene. Girl, don't be calling my middle name. Don't nobody know that's my middle name. Black, you want to add something before we get out of here, man? You want to say something before we go? It's 9:00.
Yeah, man. But before we go, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, first of all. And man, you know, I love you. You're a great guy, man. Keep doing what you're doing and bringing awareness to the people and giving people a different perspective than they normally would get. You know, with you is more, hey, it's the truth. It's the raw truth, man. And even if some people don't agree with it, it's a lot of people, man, that are being helped. So I just thank you for allowing me to be along for the ride.
No, appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on. You always got a wonderful perspective about issues and things, man. And I just, again, iron sharpens iron, brother. And, you know, I just appreciate that part of it. Unfortunately, you know, when something is public, you're going to get all kind of feedback. And hey, as grown men, we can deal with that. We can handle that, and we can deal with whatever it is, positive, negative, or what have you. Because one thing I know I'm not doing for sure is hiding from my truth. And the people I love know I love them. And that is what it is. And ain't nothing they can do about it. My family know how I feel about them. Shit, from Rita, Sheila, my kids, Nicole, Bailey, Will, Chill Will, Big Will.
Yeah, Will.
Everybody, man. It is what it is. They know I love them. My friends know who they are, who I truly call friend. And man, look, life ain't promised.
Nah.
We all sitting here tonight. People are commenting on the podcast. We're doing the conversation on the podcast, and we could not wake up in the morning. One of us could not be here. So all I'm saying to people that's listening and watching us tonight is don't go to bed and let your last thoughts or your last words be something negative to or about somebody.
Amen.
I'm challenging you. Don't close your eyes tonight and lay down on the pillow without telling somebody you love them and you care about them. And that is, if there's ever anything that you can do for them, hey, I'm there for you. Don't close your eyes tonight. Black, I just want to emphasize this because tomorrow ain't promised.
Facts.
Like, man, we take this for granted for so much.
Yeah.
Don't close your eyes tonight. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's easier to love, man. And one thing I know for a fact, love gonna always conquer hate. So I'm gonna continue to love you and everybody that God has ordained and allowed to be in my life. I'm gonna love them, and we gonna squash the hate with the love.
Hey, look, that's a challenge to everybody that's out there, man. Love on somebody before you go to bed tonight, even if it's just your kid. Come here, Pop, right quick. Let me give you a kiss on camera so I can let these people know I loved on somebody before I go to sleep tonight. Me and Mr. Sean finna end the show. Hurry up so I can kiss you on camera.
I'm probably like, man, leave me alone.
He ain't doing nothing but in there on the damn game.
Hey, that's them kids. That's they go-to, man.
Yeah, man, they be on that game. Here you go. Let your daddy give you a kiss on camera. Because people don't believe I kiss my boys. See? People don't believe I still kiss my boys. I'm like, hey, that's my seed. That's my son.
Yeah, all day, every day.
But yeah, man, love on somebody. Tell somebody you love them, guys. Don't go to sleep tonight. Text somebody. Say, man, I'm just texting you to say I love you and I appreciate you. Be a beacon of light. Be a beacon of, don't be darkness.
Yes.
Because we don't know.
Just don't
You
know.
don't want to get a phone call, and I'm not above approach, or I'm not above not being here tomorrow. You don't want to get a phone call and say, "Hey, man, Kevin died in his sleep." Because it's possible.
Yeah.
We serve a God that can take me home tonight.
Yes, indeed.
We serve a God that can call me home tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying to you is don't close your eyes tonight without telling somebody you love them. Thank you, Black. I love you, bro. Appreciate you for being here.
All right, fam.